in life. It is much larger than a regular pear. A lot of artists will do this in their artwork. Also today we're going to be using oil pastels. Oil pastels, we have to remember, can stain your clothes. So whenever we get an oil pastel out, we're only going to use one at a time. When opening the oil pastels, you just push the box out. You want to keep them flat. If you tilt them, they might all fall out. So we want to keep it flat on the table. Whenever we're using the oil pastels, like I said, you only get one at a time, and then when you get done with that one, you will put it back in its spot where you got it from. Today we're going to be starting with a yellow, and we're going to be drawing the right side of the pear where the light is hitting. It's going to be much larger than life, so I'm going to start up here above the middle of my paper, but in the center of the paper. So a little higher than the middle, but in the center, and it's going to make kind of an S shape. And if you mess up a little bit, it's okay, because pears are all different shapes. It doesn't necessarily have to be the exact same shape as mine. I'm gonna have another little bump here, so it kind of S'd here, bumped here. And we're gonna make our way all the way to just above the bottom. And then it's gonna start curving around here. Right at the bottom, it's going to come up just a little bit and then down. Now, if you messed up a whole lot, it is okay to kind of go back over and smooth out some parts. If you made your bumps too big, you can smooth out some parts, because we're going to be coloring everything that's on the inside. So if you're going out further, that's okay. Now I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to go to an orange. And the right side is going to be a little bit darker, so we're going to use the orange to make the right side. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to try to match a similar shape, but just a little bit different. So it's going to come up, it's going to come dip in, then S back out, and then come up and right here, just like that. And now I'm going to start the coloring process. The first thing we're going to color is the right side, and I'm not going to put color everywhere. I'm just going to be putting some spots of color like this, and then some here that are going to go like this, kind of making a little bit of a circle. It's okay if you don't get the exact same spot as I do. Just know that we're not coloring the whole thing. I'm just putting down some spots of color. And I am putting down quite a bit. I'm not just barely putting any down. I'm putting down quite a bit of color here. Now we're going to use a lot of different colors, because a pear isn't just one color. It's going to be many colors. Next color I'm going to use is a red. So this is my lightest red that I have. I'm going to come in and I'm going to put down some red just kind of above these spots and kind of around these spots here. I'm going to cover up at least a fourth of this pear here. I'm going to come even out to the middle and even a little bit onto this side here, putting some spots of color here. It's kind of hard to see where I'm putting color right now, but you can see it right there like that. And then I'm going to go in with another red, a different red. This is my fire engine red. I'm going to use quite a bit of this as well. I'm going to be coming in kind of in my spots where I was at just now. This fire engine red is going to show up quite a bit better than my orange even did. Even though it's not as bright as an orange, it does show up better. Now, as we saw in our picture earlier, some pears do have red in them. They're not all just lime green. They have lots of different colors in them. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to even overlap on top of this. We're going to learn that with oil pastels, we're going to be coloring on top of a lot of our colors. Even though we've already colored there, we'll color on top of it again. I'm going to come in with my darkest red, and I'm really going to get this left side of my pear. And I'm coloring right over some parts that I've already colored on. I want to have lots of layers of color. I don't want it to be very thin with oil. I want it to have a lot of oil pastel down and a lot of layering on top of each other. Okay, now I'm going to put in just a little bit of this tan brown. I'm going to put in some of that as well, just at spots, not everywhere, just a little bit of tan in some spots here and there. So probably a little bit more up here at the top. Okay, I didn't put much of that, just a little bit, just to give some color in there. And then I'm even going to add just a little bit of peach in there as well. Not a lot, once again, just some small spots. Okay. Then I'm going to get my lime green, and I'm going to basically do the middle. I'm going to come across all of the middle with my lime green. I'm going to add other greens as well, but my lime green is going to be the biggest majority of the middle here. We're going to come in with quite a bit of yellow on the right side. But just about all of the middle here is going to be lime green. And I want to color it in really good. I don't want to just do a sloppy job here, because I'm going to have a lot of green right here in the middle, and we're going to blend those colors in. So we haven't done any blending yet. So far we've just been layering down colors. Okay. Now let's get a different green. I'm going to go with just this bright hunter green. And I'm going to put in some hunter green more on the dark side, which is the left side, than my right side. Like I said, not all of ours are going to look exactly the same. They're not all going to be perfectly the same. And that is okay. Okay, after I've put down a little bit of that, I think we're going to start using our yellows. So I'm going to use just a bright yellow on the far right side. And I'm just going to save a little spot right here and here for my white. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and put our white down so that we don't forget about our white. Let's go ahead and put our white down. I'm going to put a little white here and here. They're just kind of spots of white, but I'm putting it down pretty heavy. I'm pressing somewhat hard, and I'm adding, I'm coloring it back and forth to make it rubbed in nice and well. So I have some white there. Okay, there's my white. Now let's go back with our yellow. And now I'm going to start blending. I'm going to be going over the top of this green here. So I am going on top of this green. And I'm trying to get around the white, but if I go over some of the white, that is okay. As you can see, I am getting on top of some of the white, but that's okay. I'm going to go back over the white with the white again to kind of lighten it up. I am going on top of the lime green that I've already colored, and on top of those reds that I've already put in. I am going on top of them. So I don't always want to color in the same direction. Sometimes I'll color at an angle, especially when I'm going on top of those reds. I might go at an angle. You can see how I really rubbed that red in. And now that it's more of a spot now than it is just a layer of color. So you can see the layer of color right here. once I go over it, I'm gonna rub it in and make it more of a spot. I'm gonna color even at a different direction, really rubbing it in. So I'm rubbing it in with the oil pastel. You can see that there's other colors on my oil pastel because I'm rubbing those colors in. Okay, now that I've pretty much colored the whole right side with my bright yellow, now I'm going to pick a different yellow. The yellow that's just one step kind of messed up here. I kind of got a little too high, but that's okay. I'm going to just work it in there to where it looks like it belongs. Happy little accidents, right? I'm shaking the table a little too much. Now I'm going to come in. Let's go in with this almost not even yellow, it's so bright. And I'm just going to do some spots here and there, especially on this right side. Kind of put some of that color in there. Okay, now the fun starts. I'm going to take this off yellow, this almost orangish yellow, and I'm going to start blending in that lime green with the yellow. And I'm pulling the lime green over to the right, so I'm really pulling it over to the right side. That's part of what I'm doing. And remember, I'm not always coloring in the same direction. I'm probably going to get the lime green and come over some of this yellow as well, just to kind of blend them in and mix them in. It's okay if you have a whole bunch of colors throughout this pear, because pears have a bunch of different colors. They just do, especially some of the more colorful ones. You can find some that are completely lime green with just different colors of green and spots on them, but I think the really beautiful ones are the ones that have some variation in color. Rubbing that red in, those spots, to make them look like spots instead of just chunks of color. If you get just a chunk of bright color, you kind of got to rub it in, make it look more like a faded spot than a chunk of color. And I'm just laying more and more color down, more and more oil pastel down, making this look like it all belongs together, making the colors kind of come together. Notice I'm coming pretty far over here on the red side now, and that is okay. I want to get some of that red on my oil pastel now after I have all this complete. I don't want to get the red on my oil pastel until I have the middle complete where all the lime green was. But now I'm going to blend in some of the oil pastel on the left side where all the reds and oranges are. Takes time, so sometimes it just takes time to do all this blending. Okay, like I said, I think I want to go back over here on this right side with some more lime green. It just wasn't quite green enough for me, so I'm going to pull some of that green. I thought I could pull more green over here, but I'm gonna get that lime green. I'm gonna kind of go over the yellow parts with the lime green. And I'm gonna have to go back over with those white parts with the white too. Remember, each time you got to make sure to put your oil pastel back in the spot. I forgot for a second. I didn't put that oil pastel back. Only need to be using one oil pastel at a time. These oil pastels can stain your clothes, and we don't want that to happen. When we're done here in a little bit, I'll talk to you about washing our hands. And the best